Hey guys, happy Vlogmas Day 14. My name is Kimberly if you're new here. If you're not new here, welcome back to the channel. Full transparency, I did not film a vlog yesterday, so we're going to do a quick video this morning so that I have something to post this evening, just so that we can keep up with Vlogmas. Yeah, so I'm currently drinking my Starbucks coffee, and I figured we could talk about the books that I read this year. My goal this year was to read 10 books by the end of the year, and I think I'm on number 7, so we may not hit our goal just yet, but I'm here to talk about the ones that I did get through. So just so you guys know, I am a part of 2 book clubs, one of which I run on my Discord. So if you are interested in that, I'll leave the link down below. We mostly read thriller, suspense, mystery types books, but you know, we try to mix it up every once in a while just to read something a little lighter. And then I was also a part of a book club at my job, so I helped co-lead that book club discussion as well. And then some of these books I just read for fun. So yeah, let's just get into it without further ado. The 6 books that I read this year. Okay, let's start with the first book. The first book I read this year was The Coworker by Freida McFadden. This book was, without like giving away too many spoilers, was about 2 women that work together and they have like kind of a weird relationship, and the one woman who always shows up to work on time without fail, like clockwork, doesn't show up for work one day, and they find out that she's missing. And this book kind of unfolds the other main character trying to figure out what happened to her, and all the twists and turns that come with that. So this was my first book that I read for the club that I run. I gave this book 3 stars out of 5 because although it was good and I was able to read it really quickly, I wasn't really a fan of the way that it turned, like the twist at the end. But that's just personal preference. Like, I just didn't like the plot twist. But overall, it was a really good book, and I definitely recommend it if you like mysteries. Also, it flips back and forth between the 2 women's point of view, so if you like that style of writing too, it just goes back and forth between like emails and conversations between both women from their different points of view. So yeah, that was the first book that I read. Right after that, for a book club, we also read Just the Nicest Couple, which is also like a mystery thriller. This one got 5 stars. You guys, I read this book in a day and a half. Like, I probably could have read it in a whole day if I had the time, but I read it in a day and a half. It was so good. It was about, without giving away too much, it was about 2 different couples, and then an incident occurs, and one couple tries to save face and tries to keep on the facade that they're just the nicest couple ever, and the other side of the story is trying to figure out what happened. And so again, it has that like split writing style where you flip-flop between the different points of views. I think you go through 3 different characters. Yeah, I rated this one 5 stars because I really enjoyed this one. It was a good read. I was so shocked at the twist. Was not prepared at all. So yeah, definitely recommend this book. And those 2 were for the book club that we do in Discord. So the next book that I read was a book that I just read on my own. I like the really cheesy romance books. They're always super short, and they're always like lighthearted and like easy to read. So I really like them. So I like to read them in between the mystery books that we read, or sometimes I like to read them if I'm like traveling or something, because it's like lighthearted and easy to read and easy to follow. So the third book I read was Second Chance at the Ranch, and this is your stereotypical story of a heiress in New York City who walks away from her life of luxury to go to Wyoming to live on this ranch as like a ranch hand. And she is like engaged to this other big hotshot billionaire in New York City, and she literally just ghosts him, ghosts her parents, and just goes to Wyoming to live on a ranch for a couple of months after like some scandal. And yeah, this is how that story unfolds. If you are also a fellow Hallmark fan and like you like those Hallmark movies, you probably know how the story goes. Like, this is literally one of those super predictable, cheesy romance books, but I just love those, and I will read them every single time, especially if it has to do with a ranch. So I gave that one 5 stars. Again, that was Second Chance at the Ranch by Cassidy Berg. Another one that I read that was just for fun and also rated 5 stars was Cross Cowboy. And this was it's called A Sweetwater's Farm, book number 1. I was looking into it. This is by ElanaJohnson. I hope I'm saying that right. I found out there's 4 books in this series. So I read Cross Cowboy, and then she has 3 other books: Grumpy Cowboy, Surly Cowboy, and Salty Cowboy. And I know what you're thinking, that sounds crazy. But what it is about is it's 4 brothers, and they all live on this ranch that they own with their dad, and they all have these like terrible relationships with women. The older brother is like getting a divorce. The second brother is just grumpy all the time. The third brother is kind of like just bitter about everything, and then the youngest brother is always angry. He's just like a crash out for like no reason. So yeah, book number 1 is called Cross Cowboy, and the cross one is the crash out youngest brother. So it follows his story of becoming like angry all the time into like finding his perfect match and like finding love, I guess you could say. And then the other 3 books follow the other 3 brothers, and they do have 2 sisters, and the 2 sisters are the only ones that are like healthy and have like normal relationships. It's always the men. But it's literally such an interesting book, and it was fun to read. It was really short. It took me like a day and a half. So yeah, 5 stars if you guys are interested in those types of books. Okay, back to book club books. We read this one at work, and this one is called The Measure by Nikki Erlick. And we read this as part of like the women's ERG, and I like helped co-lead the discussion for this. And y'all, this book was kind of crazy. So I personally didn't like it that much because it was a little too realistic in my opinion. But essentially, without giving away spoilers, this book is about it's like about America. I don't even know. They don't even say where it is. But one day, everyone wakes up, and if they're 22 or older, they get a box on their step. And then from that day forward, anyone who turns 22 on their 22nd birthday, they get this box. It's like a black box with their name on it. And that's all anyone really knows. And inside of it is a string, and the strings vary in length. There are long strings, there are short strings, and the first part of the book, it's broken up into like 4 seasons. The first part of the book is finding out the significance of the strings and what that means, and then the second half of the book is kind of like people's reaction and society's reaction to these strings. So it was good. Like, I'll say for a work book club, it was a good book, and the discussion around it was really good. But I personally just was not really a fan of this book. But I'll give it 3 stars because it was interesting to think about, and I was able to get through it. It is broken up, like I said, in seasons. So there's spring, summer, fall, and winter. But then they also have character splits as well. So you get different point of view. I think it follows 4 characters, and you get to see how they deal with the box and the strings and all that stuff. So yeah, I think if you're interested in thought-provoking books, that might be a good one to read. Yeah, I personally just gave it a 3 out of everyone else who read it completely loved it, so you may love it if you be 5-star level if you read it. And let's see, the last one that I read this year was The Housemaid, and this one was again for my book club because we like suspense and thriller over here. And I don't want to give too much away with this one because there's a lot of like twists and turns. So the official summary says that The Housemaid by Freida McFadden is a psychological thriller about a young woman who takes a job as a housekeeper for a wealthy couple. That doesn't really like tell you too much, but I kind of also don't want to spoil it. Yeah, definitely worth the read. And actually in the Discord book club that I have for the month of December, we are reading The Housemaid's Secret, which is the second book. And I actually heard that The Housemaid is being turned into a movie starring Amanda Seyfried and Sydney Sweeney. I don't know how true that is, but that's going to be a good movie if it does. So if you want to get ahead of it, like the whole It Ends With Us train, everybody was trying to read that book like once the movie, after the movie was announced. If you want to get ahead of it so that you can actually get the book, make sure that you check that out now, because I think they're going to be making a movie sometime in the next year or so. But yeah, those are the books that I read so far this year. Gosh, and I almost forgot to tell you guys about the book I'm currently reading. That's a little bit more lighthearted and fun. I'm reading this simultaneously with The Housemaid's Secret, because sometimes I do that. Sometimes I read 2 books at once. And this one is called The Unhoneymooners by Christina Lauren. This is, again, one of those super cheesy rom-com stories about a girl whose name is Olive, and she is a twin, and her twin sister is getting married. And at the wedding, the twin sister and the groom get insanely sick with food poisoning. Everybody who went to the wedding gets crazy sick with food poisoning. And the only 2 people who didn't get sick was her and her arch nemesis, who happens to be the groom's brother. And they have to go on the twin sister's honeymoon and pretend to be her sister, and he pretends to be his brother. And that is how they kind of like end up in Hawaii together, and it's super cheesy, and I'm sure you guys know how that's gonna end up. But if you like that kind of stuff, I so far would rate this book 5 stars, of course, but I am only like halfway through. I think 57% done the book according to my handy dandy Kindle. So yeah, I used to be a paperback girl. I used to buy every book for book club, but it started to get like cumbersome because books are like $15, $20, and it started to add up. So I got a Kindle. I think this is the Paperwhite signature something, I don't know. I got it in sage green. I don't know if you could see that, but I got it in sage green. And then I also got this case off of Amazon, which I can also link down below if you're curious. It has the magnetic case that makes your Kindle go to sleep or wake up depending on if it's open or closed. And then on the back it has like a place for your cards, which I don't know what kind of card you would put in here, but it does. And then it has a kickstand, so if you want to set it on a table. And then it has what I really like the most is this like comfortable hand grip. This is super thick and there's like padding on the inside, so like it makes it a little bit more easier to hold than like how you normally would hold it. So yeah, I can do like a Kindle review later if you guys are interested in all of my Kindle stuff. But yeah, I got that. I paid for the Amazon Kindle Unlimited program, which is like $11, $12 a month, I think, and you can download as many books as your heart desires onto your library. And then once you're done with it, you just kind of like remove it from your library, and then you can download more. So yeah, this is not sponsored by Amazon by any means, but you know, I just love my Kindle, and that's how I've been reading, and that's how I've been able to get through so many books so fast, in my personal opinion. I have never been someone who can like listen to books. I prefer to read them. So yeah, I'm trying to think if there's anything else. Probably not. If you are interested in reading more in 2025, please follow me on Goodreads. I'll link that down below too. And you can see what I'm reading, and you can see my ratings for all of these books and for all of the books that I will read in the future. If you want to be a part of a group book club, please join the Discord down below. We'd be happy to have you. I haven't really figured out the logistics of meeting just yet, because right now it's just me and like a couple of people I know in my personal life. But if you just want to see what books we're reading, read it and then drop it in the chat, like your thoughts and opinions, we can do that too. We'll figure it out over on Discord. But make sure that you do that if you're interested. And if you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up. Make sure that you are subscribed and you have your bell notifications turned on so you never miss another episode. And I will see you guys tomorrow.
Whoa, oh, oh. La, da, 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 oh, oh, oh. La, da, 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 oh, oh, oh. La, da, da, da. Making our Christmas memories.